What is up, blamers, tamers, and financially irresponsible board gamers? Thanks for sitting down with me today. Last week, we played a little game called That's Pretty Clever. What wasn't pretty clever is how I bungled the rules super bad, but we're just going to breeze past it and ignore it because if you liked That's Pretty Clever, if you enjoyed the ticking off of boxes, which led to the ticking off of other boxes, buddy, I got news for you. This game has more boxes. This game has more things that you get for crossing off boxes that let you cross off other boxes that cross off other boxes. This game is called Hadrian's Wall, and it's a blast. Played it a few times now, and I am confident I can get through this playthrough without massively bungling any rules. And I hope that's not ironic foreshadowing. So, if you take a look here, you can see that we are split up into two sheets. Rather than go through and explain what every single thing does, which would take, honestly, the length of the playthrough, what I'm going to do is just explain some basic principles of the game, and then just explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it as we go through the game, and I think you'll pick it up as we go along. So, the basic premise in Hadrian's Wall is every turn you're going to get some workers. Workers come in four varieties. You have blue builders, you have yellow citizens, you have purple servants, and you have the black soldiers. All of these workers serve different purposes. Servants help you mine and forest. They also help you build buildings along with builders. Citizens engage on these citizen tracks, which are basically just a variety of left to right tracks, like everything else in this game, that get you additional workers. They allow you to also build some buildings that relate to each citizen track, but we'll cover that as we get into it. Soldiers are used for protecting the wall. They act as the wall guard because every turn we're going to flip over some cards of this here picked deck, depending on the difficulty, which we're going to play on standard today. So 1 card in the first round, 2 cards in the second round, 4 cards in the third round. It scales like that. And these arrows here are going to show at the top of those cards. And if I don't have spaces bubbled in order to support those arrows as they come in, I'm going to take some damage. And that's not good. It's going to cause some disdain, which at the end of the game is negative victory points. And as we established in our last video, points is good. More points is better. Points is how you win. And it's how you feel good about yourself, even when you maybe don't have any reason to. Skipping over the existential dread of that, let's talk about the way that you score points in this game. As you bubble in things, which every track moves from left to right here on the main board, and on these citizen tracks as well. As you bubble things in, you're going to be getting additional benefits. Filling in the fort gives you infrastructure, which helps you build bigger buildings, which helps you in future turns. Filling in the wall guard helps you fill in your cohorts, which again protect from picked attacks. Mining and foresting helps you get extra resource production, so you have more stone when you need stone. All of these things, as you fill them in varying quantities, are going to give you some manner of these 4 main tracks here: renown, piety, valor, and discipline. The short explanation of these is that every tick on this is a point. You can see here there's a little track, and at the end of the game we're going to tally up our totals in those things, subtract total disdain, and that's our score. There's some additional stuff with objectives, which I'll cover as we go, but that is basically it. The only worker I think I haven't really explained is the citizen. And what the citizen lets you do is engage on these citizen tracks, which really, if you think about it in terms of theme, is just sending a citizen somewhere to become specialized and get back something different. So, for instance, if I sent a yellow citizen to the patricians, I would end up getting a stone. I don't know why they turned my lovely citizen into a rock, but that's not really my business. Their house, their rules. I just live here. If I sent them to the Apparatorus, I would get back a builder, so on and so forth. So citizens are kind of like, almost like a wild resource that you use to progress along these tracks, and get back different workers, which then in turn can be used to build track-specific buildings. So for instance, for the traders, you could build precincts and markets. For the performers, you could build theaters or the gladiatorius. For the priests, you can build the gardens and the temples. You get it. So, at the risk of over-explaining things and getting wrapped up, I'm just going to start. Now, in the solo version of this game, the only difference is that you have a neutral deck of these path cards, which I'll explain in a moment, that essentially just let you have an additional sort of mode of interaction with, it simulates having an opponent at the table, which is helpful for a variety of things that we'll cover as they come up. But the first thing we're going to do is flip over the top card of this Fate deck, which is going to show us what our starting resources are. Now, if I was flipping this over for a Pict invasion, that's the cohort that I would reference. So I would take an attack on my right cohort, which currently has no bubbles. Oh gosh, oh geez, I would take some disdain, but thankfully I have some time to remedy that. Instead, what I'm going to do is take these starting resources. So I'm going to get a soldier, I'm going to get 2 builders, and I'm going to get 3 servants, a citizen, and a stone. I think it's just called a resource, but I'm going to call it stone for the remainder of this video, and I'm just going to need you to deal with that. So as I put these on my board here, we'll go ahead and put this off to the side. So these are our starting resources, but they are not the only resources we get. The next thing that we do is take 2 cards off the top of our player deck, which, by the way, I chose to play as this gentleman today because I love and appreciate his little lion scarf. I'm sure it's supposed to make him seem like a fierce warrior, but to me, it just seems very cute, and I love that about him. And for my opponent, I just chose the smuggest looking person possible. Hopefully all of this is in focus. If it's not, how embarrassing for me. Let's go ahead and put that down. So when you flip over these cards, there's a few bits of information on each of them. The top is an in-game objective, so something to work towards as you progress through the game. The second kind of middle section is a tetromino shape, which I'll cover later. It has to do with one of the citizen tracks. And then you have some resources. Now, one of these cards every round we're going to select for its resources, whereas the other one we're going to select for its in-game scoring. I think I'm going to go with completed wall sections as my scoring goal. It doesn't really matter which one I take resource-wise because they're exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and slide it under my player board here, and then this is just going to hang out on top of my deck. And immediately, I'm going to get an extra stone and an extra builder. And that's fantastic. And now for my opponent, they flip over 2 cards. The only thing that this is used for me is if I'm using this shape or if I'm using their trade goods, which again, I will cover as we get to it. Both of these have to do with citizen tracks. Probably won't be relevant for at least a round, so I'll just cover it when we get there. So I'm going to set these off to the side for now. Hopefully those are both visible on camera. And with that, we're ready to begin. Now, the start of a game of Hadrian's Wall always starts kind of similar for me in my playthroughs because one of the things that you need to do to accomplish anything is build infrastructure. And you build infrastructure by working on the fort down here, which requires builders or soldiers. Each worker you spend bubbles in a little bubble, and you get the reward that is inside that bubble. So currently I could spend these 3 builders here to fill in these 3 spots. You'll notice that these spots here are chained to the wall and chippy. I don't know how you say this. I'm gonna say chippy because it reminds me of Tim and Eric. And where's my chippy? There's my chippy. Both of those tracks, the chippy and the wall, are connected to the fort. So you cannot progress further on these tracks than you are on the fort. So for instance, I can't fill in anything on these tracks until I've filled in this first fort spot. So you can see that these are connected here. The wall guard, unsurprisingly, has a lot of these little shield icons, which is what helps you fill these cohorts, which help you prevent attacks, which help prevent disdain, which are negative victory points, and that's great. So given the preponderance of servants I have, I think I'm actually going to start by spending one of them to fill in this first box, and then the other to fill in the second box. And this second box here is going to get me a resource production. So now every turn, rather than just getting 1 stone, I'm going to get 2 stone. And in fact, I should actually have an extra 1 to start because we start with 1 resource production. My apologies for forgetting that. But from now on, we'll start with 2 additional stone, which is quite helpful. So I've spent those. I think now it makes a lot of sense to use at least 2 of these builders to fill in these spots here. And I think I'm probably going to end up using the 3rd to fill in this 2nd spot here. And I'll tell you why. I say 2nd spot. What I mean is it's getting me my 2nd infrastructure. The reason I want to get my 2nd infrastructure is now I can come down here to the small hotel and I can build the small hotel. It requires 2 infrastructure, a servant, and a builder, and a stone. And when I build it, I immediately get a citizen, and then I get an additional citizen every single year, which is great and good, and we want that. So currently, all I have access to is a citizen, a soldier, and a servant. But very easily, I can turn this citizen into a different worker. For instance, I would really like to turn it into a builder so that next round I'll get an additional citizen. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to turn in this citizen. I'm going to find a citizen track here that lets me do that. So if I fill in the first section of performers, I get a blue worker, a builder. If I fill in the first section of Apparatoris, I get the blue builder worker as well. I haven't done much with the performers in my previous playthroughs, and I think that's going to stay the same. The Apparatoris, their buildings are just quite good. The courthouse lets you just get additional workers every round, and the baths let you get rid of disdain, which is nice. So I think I'm going to spend that citizen to fill in the first bubble on the Apparatoris track, which, as you can see, gets me a blue worker. Now I can pay the cost of the small hotel, spending a blue and a purple and a stone. I will spend those back to the old supply, bubble that in, get myself a citizen, and now every round going forward, I will get an additional citizen, which is great. Similarly, I think I'll spend a stone to fill in a wall section, which will get me another citizen. So I could spend a soldier on the fort to get another citizen, which is great. But I think I want to start working on the cohorts. So I think what I'm going to do is use that to bubble in a shield. And then completely arbitrarily, I'm just going to choose the center cohort to fill in the first box. Now, when we get attacked, if they attack from the center, I won't take any damage, I won't take any disdain, and I'll get a little valor. Every time you get attacked, if they don't deal any damage to you, if no attacks get through, you end up getting a certain amount of valor dictated by this little banner here. But what's nice is, even if some attacks do get through, as long as it doesn't exceed that number, you still get that valor, you just get some disdain as well. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is use a citizen on the performers track, mainly just to get another builder. So I can spend this builder on the fort track to get myself another citizen. And you can see the core loop of the game. You really are just chucking resources back and forth, trying to get the optimal kind of combination and make the most out of your resources each turn, because resources don't carry over. It's use it or lose it. And on that note, I think what I'm going to do, as my pen falls apart, what I think I'm going to do is spend a citizen here down on the patricians track, which is going to get me another stone. And the reason I'm doing that is so I can spend 2 stone here on the wall, which I can do because I've built out this far on the fort. I'm going to spend 2 stone, which is going to get me another citizen. From there, I think I'm probably going to focus on climbing the Apparatoris track so I can build the courthouse as soon as possible, because the courthouse is quite good. So I'm going to spend my last 2 citizens on the Apparatoris track. That 3rd bubble is going to get me a soldier, which I think I'm then going to spend on wall guard. And now bubbling this in gets me a discipline. And with that, at the end of round 1, look at us. We've achieved 1 whole victory point. I'm really proud of us. I hope you're as proud as I am. Okay, so that's a round, and that's what the game is going to be for all 6 rounds. It's a maximization of your resources and trying to compound and build so that you end up with more and more resources as the game goes on. Something to keep in mind is our objective here to complete wall sections. What we want to do essentially by the end of the game is have this whole track filled, because that'll get us 3 additional victory points. The rub here is that this little line right here and right here is divided right down the middle. You can see I can't build beyond this line. I can't fill anything in beyond this line until I build the medium granary. And similarly, I can't build anything here, do anything here until I build the large granary. And so that's something that we're going to address either this next round or possibly round 3, depending on how kind of slow we roll it. So now that we're done with the round, we draw our picked card and see where we're attacked from. I hope we get attacked from the center, because that way I don't take any disdain. But even if we do get attacked from somewhere else, we'll still get valor because it won't exceed the number on this little banner here, which is 1. We get attacked to the right. So I don't have anything in the right cohort, so I'm going to circle 1 disdain here, and that'll be worth 1 negative victory point at the end of the game if I don't do anything about it. But there's some things that we can do about it as the game goes on. We'll handle that as it goes. Now that we're done with that, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to flip over the fate card and see what resources we get. We get a nice spread: 2 soldiers, 2 builders, 2 servants, a citizen, and a resource. Keeping in mind that we're getting 2 additional resources, so that's going to be 3 total. An additional citizen because of our small hotel, so that's 2 citizens. And then just the rest as the card dictates. This is just going to move into our discard. And now we're going to choose 2 new cards. So we have total constructed landmarks or total resource production. Now, the push and pull with this is always, what do you want more? These immediate resources or a more achievable end game? Constructing landmarks, I find, is doable but difficult. And then total resource production is also doable but difficult. But I do enjoy that kind of grind. Having a ton of resources at the end of the game is quite fun. So I think I'm going to choose this to slide under the player board, which means I'm going to get 2 additional stone this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that in under there. Put this on top of my deck and grab myself 2 additional stone. We'll do the same for our smug opponent. What do they get? What are they giving us, rather? They're giving us this kind of T-shape, a long shape, and a 6 and a 2 on the trade goods, which again, haven't come up yet, but as soon as it does, I'll be sure to explain that. Essentially, it has to do with the market for the traders and for the scouts for the patricians, but we'll get to that when it becomes relevant. And now we go again. I hated taking any disdain. I disdained taking the disdain, if I'm honest with you. I'm going to spend a resource here to bubble this in. And now you can see that there are 2 benefits there. The little building is a renown, so that's another victory point for us. And then a shield. I'm going to bubble in the right cohort. And no, it's not, because I was just attacked there. What are you talking about? I would never engage in results-oriented thinking. That just couldn't be me. Now I want to think a little bit ahead. Going forward, I want to have as many resources as possible. And I think the best way to do that is by building things early, which is tough because it does feel like you're spending a lot of resources quickly. But I think that's the move. So with that in mind, I could build the small workshop for 3 stone, which would get me an additional builder a year. Seems all right. If I spend another citizen on the Apparatorus track and reach spot 4, that allows me to build the courthouse. And the courthouse is really cool because essentially once a year per column, you can get additional workers. Sometimes you're exchanging workers, sometimes you're just getting additional ones. It's very useful, and we have the resources for it this turn. So I think that might just be what I'm interested in doing. Let's see. Yeah, especially because in this first column, you get additional servants. And as we just picked up with the resource production, I want to have as much of that filled in as possible. Servants are how you get additional resource production. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to spend a citizen to fill in this little track here, which is going to get me a discipline. I'll fill that in over here. And now that I'm in spot 4, you can see that it's a green flag rather than just a brown, which means that I've been able to build this courthouse. I'm going to spend the cost of 2 servants, a builder, and 2 stone. So the servants go back, the builder goes back, and 2 stone, hello, go back. And now I've built the courthouse, which is going to get me a renown, which I'll bubble in over here. So as I mentioned, once per year per column, you can make a ruling at the courthouse, which essentially just gets you an additional worker or lets you trade in a worker for more. But for now, since we're only at 4 on the Apparatorus track, I have one option. I'm going to go ahead and write what year we're in, which is 2, which is just going to get me a free servant straight up. We love that. I think I'll probably... let me think. You know what? Just for the sake of showing off a mechanic that I haven't yet, and have been kind of saying that I will explain when we get to it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a citizen here to bubble in the second spot on the patricians track, which now lets me make use of the scouts. And essentially how the scouts work is, depending on how far along on the track you are, you have access to a certain number of them. Right now I only have 1. I can spend a soldier, which I will do, to bubble in this little horse. And now I get to make use of these shapes that are on these cards. Essentially, the way that it works is I'm going to choose either my own shape or the shape of one of my opponents, and I'm going to use that shape, bubble it in here, and get whatever resources I cover up. Now, I have a straight line, which is what I think I'm going to use so that I can get either 2 additional stone or 2 servants, because I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. If I get 2 additional servants, I get to finish out the... oh, you know what? I've just talked myself into it. Yes, I'm going to get 2 additional servants. What that's going to let me do is finish out this first section here, which again, I can't build past until I build my medium granary, but I'll have 1 servant left over and a builder left over. I'll also have some stone hanging out. Then I can build my medium granary. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I've spent the soldier. I'm going to go ahead and use my own shape. If I used my opponent's shape, I would need to place the soldier on their card. In the solo mode, it just means you're attacked by an additional picked card. But in the multiplayer game, they would get access to that soldier. It's like paying them, essentially, to use their card. But I don't need their dang card. I got my own. So I'm just going to go ahead and bubble this in. And now, notably, you can flip the shape however you want. So I could bubble in up and down like this, or here, whatever. But you have to be able to fill in the entire spot. So I filled that in. I'm going to grab 2 more servants. I'm immediately going to spend them to bubble in these 2 here. And then I'm going to spend a servant, a builder, and a stone to build my medium granary, just so I have that taken care of as we proceed. I think... then I'm going to spend this soldier. Ooh, do I want to spend the soldier? Let's see, we're getting attacked by 2 picked cards this next round. Do I want to use the soldier to get into another shield and fill in a cohort space to protect me in that regard? Or do I want to use it to get this infrastructure and allow me to spend this stone to get another citizen? What could I do with the citizen? Oh, you know what? This is actually perfect. I've answered my own question, and I'll show you how. I'm going to spend this soldier here on the fort to get this infrastructure. I'm going to spend the stone to get a citizen. And then I'm immediately going to take and spend that citizen on the patricians track, which is going to get me another soldier. Hello, soldier. Which I'm then going to use to get this shield bubble here. And then for the sake of spreading myself out, I'll bubble in that cohort there. And that is all my resources. Boy, howdy, they went fast. I think I said the same thing with That's Pretty Clever, but I don't know how good I am at this game. My last score, I think, was like 68 or something, which I think the rulebook describes as like decent. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Now let's resolve the picked attacks. I hope I do all right. Oh, something I need to do from last round is bubble in the Valor that I should have gotten from not getting horrendously over-attacked. So we have an up. We're good. We really just need to not have a repeat. And a left. We're good. So because we didn't take any sort of damage whatsoever, we get 2 Valor. And because we get 2 Valor, we get a soldier. So that'll help us for next round. All right. So this is going to get discarded. These 2 will get discarded. And we go again. So I'll go ahead and draw these 2. We'll wait on that for a second because I want to see what resources we get. So for this round, we're getting 3 builders, 2 soldiers, a servant, a citizen, and a resource. Remember that we get 2 additional resources, so that's going to be a total of 3. We get additional citizens, so that's 2 additional citizens, 1 servant, 3 builders. The builders are running away. I don't know why. Rome's going to last forever. What could possibly go wrong? And 2 soldiers, in addition to our 1 that we got from our Valor. Fantastic. Okay, so now we have our 2 cards, one of which is the Pontiff, which gives us a benefit for filling temples, or we can get 2 servants, or the Aristocrat, which wants us to have as little final disdain as possible and gets us a citizen and a builder. Since we already have a decent spread of citizens and builders, I'm going to just use this as the victory condition. Filling temples takes a lot of work and has never been something I've been particularly successful at, so I'm going to go ahead and slot this in for our victory thing, and then take this for 2 additional servants, which is good because we want more resource production anyway, and we didn't have a ton of them this round. Our smug opponent, what do we think we should name him? What do you think his name is? I think his name is Julian. Now, if your name is Julian, don't worry, I don't think you're smug inherently, but that's just the vibe I get from this gentleman. He's a real Julian. Okay, he has 2 of the same shapes, and a 4 and a 2 on the trade value, which again hasn't become relevant yet. We'll explain it when we get to it, but for now, let's just set those off to the side there. And let's continue our building of this beautiful box-laden city. All right. So I think this round we're going to be attacked by 4 picked cards. So I feel like it's a priority for me to get some shields bubbled in. And so in order to do that, I think I'm just going to spend 3 soldiers straight up to bubble in these 3 spots. So it's going to bubble in a blank, a discipline, and a shield. I'll bubble in this discipline, which is going to get me an additional builder. That's lovely. For the cohort, I'm just going to bubble in the first center, or rather second center, excuse me. I think I'm going to use at least 2 of these builders to bubble in these 2 spots here on the fort, which is going to get me a citizen and a discipline. And now that I've built further across here, I can reach these spots here. So I'm going to spend 2 stone. Well, hold on. Let's not be premature because, let's see, we're getting attacked by 4. This is interesting, and I'll tell you why. Is that I'm greedy, and I just want more stuff. So if I spend my 2 stone here, I won't have enough stone to build the small workshop this round, which I would really like to do because it gets me an additional builder every round, which is just super useful, and the earlier you do it, the more you get out of it. However, if we take some additional disdain, that's not great for us. It's minus victory points, and it goes against our aristocrat scorecard, so I don't know. Let me think. If I spend these 2 stone here, is there somewhere else I can get that stone back? I can hit up the patrician's track, which will get me a renown and a stone if I spend 2 citizens. The renown will also get me another citizen, so that'll get me back to 2 stone. Then I just need a third. Yes, and I can spend my servant. Okay, this is all good. So what I'm going to do, sorry to cut off my own line of thinking there, but I'm just going to show you instead. I'm going to spend 2 stone to bubble in these 2 wall spots, which again I can do because I'm this far along. I'm just going to bubble in a shield. I'll bubble in the left. So now we're protected from 2 attacks on both of those. I'm going to spend 2 citizens here to bubble 1 and 1 here, which is going to get me a renown, which will get me back a citizen, and then a stone, which I'll put here. I'm going to spend a servant to bubble here, which I can now do because I built the medium granary last turn. I took my medicine, so I'm going to get an additional resource production and another stone. And so now I have 3 stone. And I can use that to build the small workshop this turn. Alternatively, something I could do is spend it on Chippy to be very protected. But I think I'm going to take a little bit of a risky biscuit and be greedy PD. I don't know where all the rhymes are coming from. It's my Roman excess. I'm going to spend the 3 stone to build the workshop. It gets me another builder right now, which is grand. And it'll get me an additional builder every single turn for the rest of the game. All right, what to do now? I think what I'm going to do is spend at least 1 citizen on the Apparatorus track, which is going to get me an additional builder. But why I want to get up to 5 is that this opens up another courthouse space for me here and here. So I can use both of these in the same year as long as they're in different columns, which I'm going to do. So immediately I'm going to get a free servant, and then I'm going to turn in a builder, which I kind of have an excess of, for 2 additional servants, which is great because that's going to get me even more resource production. I think right away I'm just going to spend 3 of them to bubble in these 3 spots. Going to get a stone and an additional resource production. So now next round, I'm going to be producing 4 additional stone, an additional civilian, and an additional builder. Fantastic. What else? The last game I played, I built a small road, and I was very happy with how that went for me. However, I do need to spend 2 more builders to get there, which I'm fine to do, because that'll get me a citizen, and then that additional infrastructure that I need to build the small road. Let me go ahead and make sure I take this citizen. I've been saying citizen. Is it civilian? It's civilian. I'm going to call them citizens. I don't think I can break that habit now. I'm sorry, designers of Hadrian's Wall and viewers at home. You'll just have to bear with me calling things what they're not. Yeah, let me think. I could build a small precinct. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I like this. I'm going to spend 2 servants and a builder and a stone to build the small road, which is going to get me right away a piety or a discipline. I never really go deep on piety, and I think that that's a mistake that I've made in previous playthroughs. I feel like you really want to try to attack all the tracks differently, but maybe spreading myself thin isn't a good idea either. I'm going to take a discipline for now. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then what I get is a free discipline every single... Whoops, where is it? I get a free renown, piety, valor, or discipline every single year because of that bubble. All right, that leaves me with 2 citizens. I'm going to spend 1 of them on the traders track to get a servant. And then I'm going to spend the servant and the citizen to build a small precinct, which is immediately going to get me a piety, a resource production, and a stone. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I'm cheating. I am cheating. Let me get those back. I can't build that yet. I need to have 3 pips with the traders. So forgive me, I can't do that. I'm glad I caught that as I was doing it. So what do I want to do instead with these gentle folk? If I spend a citizen on the Apparatorus, I'll get a discipline, which will get me another builder, and then I could spend a builder to get another citizen. Let's go ahead and do that. Ring around the rosy. So I'll put that there. Gets me another discipline, which gets me a builder. I'll spend the builder on the fort to get a citizen. I'll go ahead and spend this servant here just to finish out this section here. And now I need to think about building my large granary going forward. But I have a bit to get to with the rest of these, so I may not rush that necessarily. But something to keep an eye on. And then I think to end the turn, it's not particularly flashy, but I think I'm just going to spend a citizen on the traders track so I can work towards building that precinct next turn, because these precincts are how you max out your resource production, basically. These two here are only going to fill these two here. I need to build all three of these if I want to get the full points for the resource production quest at the end of the game. So we'll see how that goes. But that is all the resources for the turn. Let's go ahead and flip over how many? 4 picked cards. So to start, we got hit by a right. We don't love that to start. Ooh, that's another right. So that is a disdain for us. Center, that's fine. And center, that's fine. So we end up taking a disdain. Not fantastic, but because we only took 1 disdain, we still get our 2 valor. Could be worse. -2 victory points isn't the end of the world at the end of the day. But this next round, we're going to be attacked by 6. So we really need to kind of buckle down and do what we need to do. All right, let's get rid of the Pontiff there. Our opponent's cards here. I say opponent, but really they're just our helpful little pal, Julian. Thanks, Julian. I love your smug face. Okay, let's go ahead and flip the card to see what resources we get. We're going to get a soldier, 2 builders plus our additional, a citizen plus our additional citizen, and a stone plus our additional 4 stone. Okay, and just like that, we're halfway through the game already. Yikes. It goes, frankly, too fast. All right, let's see what options we have. We have total gladiator strength, which I don't think I'm taking just straight up because I've never really approached that, and completed cohorts. Well, we want to do that anyway because it's scary out here. So let's go ahead and slot that in there. And then for our additional resources, we're going to get a servant and an additional stone. Now, if I could turn stone into wall guards, buddy, I'd be living in it. But unfortunately, that's not how this works. But at the beginning of each turn, I get a free valor, piety, renown, or discipline. I think I'm going to take a free valor, which will get me a soldier. Thank you, Rhodes. No one does what you do so well. All right. Boy, howdy, we have our work cut out for us this round. I think the first thing I'm going to do is spend a citizen to get to 3, get myself another builder there. And then immediately I'm going to spend a citizen and a servant to build the precinct, which is going to get me a piety, a resource production, and a stone. And mainly I just wanted to get that out of the way so that that wouldn't be a confusing thing anymore. I have now built that precinct. All right, now let's set about hopefully protecting the hell out of ourselves. I'm going to spend 3 stone on Chippy. And if you're wondering where my Chippy is, well, there's my Chippy. So I'll bubble that in, bubble that. That is an additional shield. I'll go ahead and fill in the right cohort so we're a little more protected there. I can spend 3 stone here. Yeah, I'm going to spend 3 stone on the wall track to get a renown, a citizen, and diddly squat. Honestly rude that I don't get a reward every single box I fill in. I feel like the designers really missed an opportunity by not letting me get something every time. I'll spend another stone to come up here, perhaps. Maybe I want to hold on to that, because I think what I'm going to do actually is spend a builder to get myself 5 in free structure, which will let me actually build my granary when I need to. I think, again, we're going to wait on that for a little bit. But additionally, what it'll let me do is spend this stone on this space, which will get me a renown and another cohort. So let's do that. And then any of the cohorts I fill in will give me a discipline, which I'll fill in over here. All right, so what we have left is 2 soldiers, 3 builders, and a citizen. Let's go ahead and spend the citizen. Now, this is interesting, actually. There's much to consider. So I could spend the citizen to get a soldier on the Apparatorus track, which I could then use the 3 soldiers to fill in these 3 spots, get another discipline, and get another shield, which would in turn get another discipline. That kind of combos together well. Alternatively, what I could do is I've missed what I thought I was going to do instead. Oh, yes. Alternatively, what I could do is spend the 2 soldiers here, and then a builder can be used once per year to train a soldier, and that would get me that same sort of result without needing to spend the citizen necessarily. I think I like that slightly better. Is there a reason I need 3 builders? If I do 3 builders, I get an additional shield and discipline there. I think I'm going to go the route I went the first, because I could sit here and ponder it all day, and it's not going to be that interesting. Is this actual video interesting? That's up to you. You'll have to tell me down in the comments. I hope it is, because I really do love this game. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get a soldier there. I'm going to spend these 3 soldiers straight up to bubble in these 3 spots. As I bubble in the discipline, I'll bubble it in down here, bubble in a shield. I can use that shield to bubble in a discipline, which is going to get me back a builder. Oh, it's just so satisfying. Getting things for things. I wish life worked this way. So I think I'm going to definitely spend 1 to get a citizen here. Oh, did I miss a renown when I filled that in? No, because I just filled that in. Yeah, I haven't missed anything yet, I think. If I did, well, what can you do? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and spend a citizen. I'm just going to keep him here because I'm going to spend it on the Apparatorus track, or excuse me, the Patricians track, which is just going to get me back a renown, which is just going to get me a citizen anyway. So functionally, it just stays the same. I think then at that point, I tell you what, a soldier would have been useful here, and I'll tell you why. If I had a soldier, I could fill in some of this spot here, which, by the way, I need to flip over our 2 cards for our opponent. They have a square and a T. Having a soldier here would have been good, because I could use a scout to get some more stone, which I could then use on Chippy. But we live and we learn. So then, I think I'm just going to spend 2 builders. Crossing this here, which is going to get me a discipline down here, and a shield up here, which will get me, in turn, another discipline. And now I'm left with 1 builder and 1 citizen. Oh, this is perfect. I can spend the citizen to get a soldier here. Look at that. There he is. Hello, soldier. I'm going to use you immediately as a scout. Now, what shape am I going to use? I think we may have to actually give our opponent one of our cards, which I don't love. Not one of our cards, excuse me, but one of our put a soldier on there, which has an additional card attack us, which is not fantastic. But if I use their shape, I can get 2 stone at once, which is a lot better than 1 stone. In fact, it's 100% better. So, yeah, I think we're just going to do that. Yeah, let's just do it. So instead of sending that soldier to the general supply, we're going to put him there. And in fact, I'm going to put it on top of the pick deck so I remember to draw an additional. And I'm going to bubble in that shape, which will get me 2 stone. All right, 2 stone there. And then I think I'll go ahead and spend that 2 stone on a citizen, on Chippy. And then another shield. Thank you, Chippy. I'm going to put it on the left cohort because we've seen a decent amount of right and center cards from the pick deck. I haven't really seen much left, so statistically, maybe there's more of them in there. I don't actually know what the distribution is, but there you have it. Okay, we are left with 1 builder who's just sort of hanging out. I think what I'm going to do with him is just use him to train. So this is year 4, which basically just turns him into a soldier. I can't build any further on the fort track because I haven't built my granary. That's probably going to be the first order of business next turn. But we've really fortified our cohorts this turn. Our resource production has gone up. I feel mostly okay about it. So now let's draw 7 dang picked cards and see how we fared. So we have a left, another left. We're good so far. A center. No worries at all. A center. Okay. Ooh, that's a 3rd center. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Another center will cause us to take some disdain here. Let's hope that we don't get one. Well, in classic me fashion, I did. So that's a disdain there. And then left. That's the third left, so that's fine. I believe that's 7 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are going to go there. I did end up taking a disdain, but because I didn't take more than 3 disdain, I still get 3 valor, which is delightful because that's going to get me an additional soldier boy up in this hoe. Fantastic. Could have gone better, but, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and put this off to the discard. Put these off in our opponent's discard. And let's draw our resources for this turn. We're going to get 2 soldiers. We're going to get 2 builders plus our additional from the small workshop. We're going to get a citizen plus an additional because of our small hotel. And we're going to get a servant, just 1. And then 2 resources plus our additional 5. Our stone economy is honestly fantastic. I'm rich in stones. Would you like to buy one? You can't. I'm making a stone monopoly. Sorry about it. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and draw our 2 scoring cards for the game, or the round, rather. So, completed scout columns, which refers to this down here, or completed citizen tracks, which refers to the citizen tracks. This scoring condition is so mean because if you fill in 2 citizen tracks, you get 1 victory point. You have to fill in 4 to get 2, which I have found to be exceptionally hard. Filling in 3 is pretty doable, but 4 is tough. That said, I don't really need an additional soldier. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, I could use these resources, which is a little bit of a bummer because I don't know how many scout columns I'm going to complete. But it's something for us to work towards, so let's just do that. Slotting it in there. We're going to be attacked by 7 picks this round. 8 picks this round. So that's a little spooky. Julian, what do you have for us? 2 L's. If that's not indicative of this playthrough, I don't know what is. But there it is. All right, we go again. Right away, I'm just going to spend 3 stone finishing out the wall section here because it's part of my defender VP card anyway. It's going to get me a citizen, and it's also going to get me a cohort bubble. Let's see. I guess I'll bubble in the right cohort because, again, we've seen so many center cards. I have to imagine statistically, we need to build our large granary. So let's just take care of that now. Take our medicine now. So that's going to be a servant, a builder, and 2 stone. We'll bubble that in, get a renown, bubble in the renown. All right, so now we can build past this spot. For our soldiers, let's definitely spend at least 2 to get a discipline, which will get us another builder, and then a shield, which I'll use, I suppose, here in the center just to be really, really short up. I need so much. So much of what I need. And in fact, actually, I need to get a free renown, valor, or discipline. I think I'm just going to take a free piety. Excuse me, I didn't list that off, but I can. Simply because I need to get some additional servants as we go. On that note, I think I'm going to spend a citizen to get a servant here. And now I'd love to be able to build the medium precinct, but I can't do that until I'm at 6 on this track. And I am a few citizens short of getting there. So how do we remedy this? I think if we spend 2 builders on the fort, which again we can do because we have our large granary, we will get a citizen. And then we can spend 2 stone on the wall, which will get me a renown and a citizen. Let's go ahead and bubble in that renown. Grab that citizen. So now I think I do have enough. Nope, I don't. Shoot. I'm 1 short. Ooh, gosh dang God. I think I can just get there, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend... Let's make sure that my math is right. If I spend 3 citizens, I can go 4, 5, 6. That'll get me... I'll be down to 1 citizen and 1 servant. But I can then use a builder and a soldier here and here to get an additional citizen, which will then have me with 2 citizens and a servant, which I can then spend to build the precinct and get me that additional resource production, which is part of our goal anyway. So let's do that. I'm going to spend 3 citizens, bubble in here, here, and here. It's going to get me a stone and an additional nothing currently. I'm going to spend this soldier and this builder here and here so that I get an additional citizen. And then I'm going to spend the 2 citizens and the servant to build the medium precinct, which I can do because I'm now at 6. I'm going to get a resource production. I'm going to get a stone, and I'm going to get a discipline. Oh man, what could go wrong? With those 2 stone, I think I'm going to spend them both here so that I can get a renown and a shield bubble in. The renown gets me another citizen. The shield bubble in, it doesn't matter where I do it. I think I'm going to do the left, which will get me a valor. Okay, I have 1 citizen left. What am I doing with him? I think probably I'm just going to spend him on the traders track to get... Oh, you know what I haven't done this round? What I haven't done this round is... in fact, I didn't do it last round either. Ooh, that's a big mistake. I need to get a free servant here. And then I'm going to go here, get a builder, and then I could spend that builder to get 2 additional servants, which I think I'm going to do. Yeah, that was a huge misplay. Yeah, so I'm going to spend the builder to get 2 servants. This is a fun little game of arithmetic here. And then I'm going to come over here. Oh, it's actually year 5, excuse me. 5. Excuse me, Picts. Coming through. And then 5 here. So it's 1 per column per year that you can do it. So I'm going to spend a servant to get back a builder. So basically I'm up 1 servant at the end of all of that. I'm going to spend both of those servants to get a resource production and a stone. I think I'm going to spend this stone getting a citizen here. Oh, I can't do that. I have to use it on the fort to be able to do that. So let's just go ahead and do that since we've already started bubbling. I get an additional citizen. What am I going to use this citizen for, I wonder? I could use it for an additional discipline on the Apparatoris track. This is another one of those instances where having an additional soldier would have been good for me. I feel like I've bungled that a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is use it on the Apparatoris to get additional discipline, because then at the beginning of next round, I can choose a free discipline, which will give me a free builder. So that's that. Now we are about to be attacked by 8 picked cards. So let's see. Right. Center. Left. This is a good start. Center. Left. Center. Come on now. Let's see, that's 3, 6. Center. Now, if I draw a 5th center here, I'm going to throw a little bit of a fit. Right, that's 7. Yeah. 8. Now game. I'm begging you. I'm not the actual Roman Empire. I don't need to fall. In fact, I would like to be risen up into the sky. Good Lord. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh, man. All right. Well, it is what it is. I'm going to take a disdain. This is the most disdain I've ever taken. I've never gotten this unlucky with the Fate deck. Man. These Picts, they don't like me none at all. All right. So that's that. Our objective card will go there. Their cards will go here. And then now we have our final 2 cards of the game. Completed wall guard sections and complete collected goods. Well, we very much know that we're not scoring anything for that, so let's go ahead and do completed wall guard sections. I'm not even looking at the resources because at this point I'm just interested in points. Oh, speaking of which, I need to flip this card to see what we get this round. We're going to get a soldier. Oh, additionally, sorry, I'm all over the place. I need to get 4 valor. So let me do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to get me an additional soldier. Okay, so 1 soldier, 2 builders plus our additional builder, a citizen plus our additional citizen, 2 servants, 2 stone, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 additional stone. 4, 6, 7. We're hitting a bit of a bottleneck on the stone here because there's only so many places you can use it, but say lovey. All right, that'll go there. We'll flip our opponent cards. He's given us a T and a straight. Love that. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate it. All right, so this is the last round of the game. At the end of this, we're going to be attacked by 10 picks. That's a lot. So let's see about filling these cohorts first and foremost. The first thing I'm going to do, so I don't forget, is I'm going to spend a builder here to get 2 servants. And then I'm going to spend a servant here to get a builder. All right. I think what we're going to do is we're going to build the baths. We need to get rid of disdain. And we have a preponderance of stone. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that we can spend stone on just to finish those sections, which we're kind of incentivized to do anyway. And then we have 5 stone that we can spend here. Unfortunately, I can only do 2 bribes per year. You know, it's all right. So let's build the baths, first of all, I think. Ooh, it does cause an interesting problem where I want to have full resource production. I think not taking negative victory points is going to be the best thing, though. So let's go ahead and just do it. I'm going to go ahead and spend these 2 here, and then 2 stone to build the baths, which will get me a renown. Oh, I also need to remember to take my free whatever. I'm going to take a free valor, actually, to get a free soldier. Okay. I've built the baths. Immediately, I'm going to spend a stone to get rid of a disdain. Basically, what you do is you just cross off. Whoa, just put a hole in my sheet. Cross off a disdain. And then I'm going to do it again, spending another stone to cross off another disdain. So now we're only going to have -2 victory points. And at the end of the game, if we have 2 disdain, then we get 2 victory points. That's fine. Not the worst. All right, now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's set about finishing our cohorts. I'm going to spend 2 builders to get a citizen, a discipline, and a shield. The discipline will get me a builder. I get a citizen, and I get a shield. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it even, Steven. I'll bubble in Valor. Then we use 2 stone here to bubble in these 2, which give me another shield. Bubble that in here. That'll get me a discipline. Then we can use 2 more stone. Let's wait. Let's wait before we use up all of our stone. Let's see. What are we doing? Because it may be worth constructing a landmark now that we're at 15 on Valor and Discipline. We can build the column or the statue. That'll get us 2 renown, which will get us an additional citizen. That'll get us 2 piety, which would get us a servant. Let's see. I need... oh, man. This is tough because I want to build the precinct, but I'm not even there yet. Oh, man. We're really hitting a bottleneck. Okay. I want to try to max out my resource production. So let's focus on doing that, I think. To do that, I think what I'm going to do is spend a builder and 2 stone to construct the landmark, which again I can do because I'm at 15 here. That's going to get me 2 renown. I'll bubble those 2 in. It's going to get me a citizen. Now I have 4 citizens. I want to be able to build the precinct, but I have to spend 2 citizens to even get there, which will get me a renown and a stone. I could spend a stone to get an additional renown, but I'm still 1 short of getting an additional citizen, and I'm 1 citizen short. But what I could do is turn in 2 soldiers for a citizen. However, I need the soldiers to complete cohorts. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 citizens here. It's going to get me a renown and a stone. I think I'm going to spend the 2 stone. Excuse me. on the last two chippy spots, which is going to get me a renown and a shield bubble in here, which will get me a valor, which I'll bubble in there. Now I'm at 9 there, so I need one more citizen. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have enough resources to be able to get full resource production anyway, because if I spend these two to get a citizen, I spend 3 citizens and my servant to get this, I end up with one last citizen, and I'm still too short here. So I don't think I'm getting full resource production anyway, so honestly pursuing this might have been a bad idea, because you need to have all 9 filled to get 3 victory points. And I have, more than 6 filled, which is 2. So yeah, the additional strain here might not have been a good idea. But we're sort of committed, so let's just stick with it, and we'll learn from our mistakes going forward. All right, what are my other goals? Completed scout columns, completed wall guard sections. Let's see, is there any way for me to complete all the wall guard this turn? I don't believe so. I can spend 3 here, bubbling in these 3, and then I'm 3 short. I can use a citizen to get a builder, which would give me to train 1 more to fill that in there, and then I'm still 2 short. So I don't think that's happening. Completed scout columns. I think we could at least squeeze 1 victory point out of that by using the straight line or that's completed columns. If I bubble in the square here, I fill in a row, which gets me a valor, which will go here, which will get me a discipline, which will go there. That would cost me 1 soldier to do that. Then I would end up with a stone. I'd have a stone there. I don't think the stone is useful for anything anymore. Here's what I'm going to do. I spent the soldier. I've already bubbled off the thing. I'm going to put it on the pick deck. I'm going to use his straight across to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Which will get me a stone. It'll finish this row here and this column here. So that's a point. It doesn't finish this row. Oh, that's less good than I thought it was. Well, what can you do? It'll finish this column here, which will get me a point. And then what I'm going to do is, again, use a scout. Get out of here, lid. I'm going to use a scout to come here. I'm going to be using this shape to go 1, 2, 3, and bubble here. That's a complete column and a complete row, so that'll get me a valor, which will get me a discipline, and it's going to get me another stone. I don't believe there's anything I can really do with the stone, unfortunately, but let's see, because maybe I can build something. I can get a builder, and then I can probably build a landmark, and that's probably the best use. If I spend a citizen to get a builder, I could then build the column, which would get me 2 piety. So let's just do that, I think. It'll also complete this citizen track, which I don't know if that's a part of my thing. It's not, but what can you do? So I'm going to go ahead and get a builder for that, and then I'm going to spend this builder and 2 stone to build the column. Make sure that that's correct. Ooh, man. Is there a renown I could get somewhere? There is. I wonder if is it better to get a renown and build the archway. Building the archway gets me 2 valor. 2 valor fills in these 2. A renown gets me a citizen, then filling in. So if I get a renown, that'll put me at 15, which will give me another citizen. Then I'll get 2 valor for building the archway, which will give me a soldier. Then I'll have 2 soldiers, which I could build here. Yeah, I like how that combos. I don't know that it's the best, but it's what I can do. This citizen hanging out here, I don't know if this is the one I spent or not. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that it was, and if I've cheated myself out of a resource, I prefer that to giving myself an advantage. So I'll get a renown. I'm going to get a citizen back. I'll just put him back. And then I'm going to spend that builder and 2 stone to build the archway, because now I'm at 15. That's going to get me 2 valor, which is going to get me a soldier. I could spend those 2 soldiers to get a discipline, which would get me another builder. But what could I do with the builder? maybe nothing. There's nothing I can do here on the scout track anymore. That's just full up. You can really see how this game gets chunky in the last turns. You really want to try to eke out everything that you can. I could turn in the 2 soldiers for something. Does that get me anything, really? Not particularly. I think I'm just going to stick with what I was doing anyway. I'm going to spend 2 soldiers here to get a discipline. The discipline's going to get me a builder. Let me make sure I spend those. I'm going to spend the builder to train a soldier, which will bubble that in. I'll use that for a valor. I need to spend that boy. And now I have a citizen and a soyvent. Could get a stone, but I don't know that the stone really does anything for me at this juncture. I don't think there's anything I can build with just a servant and a stone. Yeah, not building the baths earlier was rough. Okay. Then in that case, yeah, let's just use the servant to bubble this in here. And then I'll just use the citizen to finish out the patrician's track. Ending with a little bit of a whimper, unfortunately. But let's see if our cohorts size up. Look at that. We're 1 away from completing the cohorts. That's so rough. So we're drawing 12 cards. I don't know how I feel about this, but we've had exceptionally bad luck. So maybe this time we'll get lucky. To the right. To the left. Beyonce style. To the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. To the left again. So that's 3. To the left again, that's 4. To the left again, that's 5. The game really likes my Beyonce joke. To the center, so 3, 5, 6, 7, 5 more cards. To the left, that's 6. So any more to the left, and we got big problems. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Last one. No! No! I don't want it. God, what? I don't know if this is just exceptionally bad luck or just poor planning on my part, but man, that's such a rough distribution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards. The reason, again, we drew 12 is because I used my opponent's card twice. So I could have avoided that by not doing it, but it gave me a couple victory points, but then I lose those victory points. It's unclear. So I will go ahead and take one last disdain, but I do end up with 4 additional valor. 1, 2, 3, 4. The renown gets me another box here. And just for fun, I end up with 1 soldier who's left wondering where everybody went. They all died, bud. They died in the Pict invasion. They really attacked one section of the wall and found their way through and just murdered everybody, including adult Dudley from Harry Potter, alternatively Tony Soprano, if you nasty. All right, and that is the game. That was my solo playthrough of Hadrian's Wall. Thank you for coming on that journey with me. Man, it really does turn into a crunch there at the end. My brain is fried. Hopefully that wasn't too grueling of a watch while I kind of churned through trying to figure out what the optimal set of choices were. But all that's left to do now is go into final scoring. So let's go ahead and do that. It's very simple. Let's look at where we are in the renown track. That's 16 points. On the piety track, 2. On the valor track, 23. On the discipline track, 19. Now we look at our path cards. How have we done in those? Completed wall sections. We completed the whole wall. That's 3 points. Resource production. We have at least 6, so that's 2 points. Couldn't quite make it all the way. Final disdain is 3. So I'm going to assume that that gets me 2 victory points, though I don't know. If I'm left with 3, and 4 would get me 1 victory point, and 2 would get me 2, I'm just going to take 1, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how that shakes out. Completed cohorts, that's 2 points. Completed scout columns, 1, 2, that's just 1 point. Brutal. And Vanguard completed wall guard sections. That's 2, so we get 2 points for that. So 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11. Never forget. 11 additional points. And then Final Disdain, -3. So that's minus 5 points. You hate to see that. So let's see if I can do better math than I did in the Goncho and Clever video. 16 plus 2 is 18. 18 plus 23 is... Oh, no. I'm just doing this just like for fun, just so like viewers at home can see how to do math. You take 1 and you carry it. 2 plus 1. So that's 41, which I obviously did in my head, but now you know as well. So 41 plus 19, that's 20. Carry the 2, 4, 5. That's 70. That can't be right. No, that's 60. 60 points. Plus 11 is 71, minus 5 is math. 5, 11, 6, 66, I want to say. Let's say 66. All right. Average. I think the game I played on BGA the other night, I scored 68 points or something like that. And then the best score I did was in a game with my mom, who, if you can believe it, played and enjoyed this game. And I scored 77, I think. So pretty okay. Let's see what the rule book says. Let's see. We're already building up a reputation of just getting negged by rule books. 60 to 69, nice, is Prefectus Castrorum. I have no idea what that means, but it is the next. If I had scored just 4 more points, I would have been a Legatus Legionis, which is the best. So there you have it. That is a game of Hadrian's Wall. It is a ton of fun. I think this is my 5th or 6th playthrough, and it really just doesn't get old. Filling in boxes to get things, to fill in boxes to get things. It's just endless little injections of serotonin, and it's a great time. So if you hung out for the whole video, thanks for hanging out. If you like the game, go buy it. I don't know. I don't get anything if you do. Maybe don't go buy it. Go play it on Board Game Arena. It's there and it's free, and maybe how I should have played it for this video. But I own it, and so here it is. If you like the video, please comment and let me know, and leave a like and smash that subscribe button and ding the bell, and tell every single one of your friends until they start worrying about your mental health and implications of parasocial relationships and such. Yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again so much for watching. Could have hung out with anybody on the whole dang internet today, and instead you again chose to hang out with me and adult Dudley from Harry Potter, filling in boxes, getting things, to fill in more boxes, to get more things, to fill in more boxes. And that's really awesome. So I'll see you next week with another video. Hope you're well. Take care. Love you very much. Peace.